Good morning, everybody. Here we are on day 8 of 31 Days of Monsters. We started 1 week ago today, and we've got another few weeks to go before Halloween. And today we're going to be talking about the 1933 two-strip color processed movie. Oh, there we go. Looks like I lost my internet there for a second. Anyway, I hope you guys are still there. This is an early precursor to Technicolor, this two-strip process where they had a red and a green filter and tones in between. You notice there's no blues in this, but it still looks really cool. I like the way these movies look. The first one, this is the second one that Michael Curtiz did with Lionel Atwill and Fay Wray. The first was Dr. X. And that one's a pretty cool movie too. Mystery of the Wax Museum was remade in the 1950s with Vincent Price as The House of Wax in 3D. I saw that one at the theater too, in 3D, not in the 50s, in a re-release in the 1970s, and it was really cool. But this one is a pre-code film. So one of the helpers of Lionel Atwill, the deformed wax artist, in this movie is a junkie. And in the 1950s movie, they removed all reference to that and turned him into an alcoholic, as if that's better or something. I don't know. The aspect of his character being a dependent on something stays the same. So there's also a lot of sexual innuendo in these movies. The wisecracking news reporter played by Glenda Farrell, she walks into the police station and she says to one of the cops, "Hey, how's your sex life?" You never see that in 1940s and 50s movies. And there's a lot of snappy repartee, dialogue that was very prevalent in the Warner Brothers films, which is what I liked about that studio. It was very earthy, very streetwise. The dialogue and the snappy patter between characters was really cool. This really is a mystery film, more so than a horror film, but there are aspects of horror in it. The makeup is pretty cool, although I think it's better in the Vincent Price one. Vincent Price is more imposing before the big reveal. As he also has some physical damage, where he's lumbering around in the back alleys and stuff. And Price was a big man too; he's like 6'3". So I think his character was scarier in House of Wax. But Lionel Atwill is good in this. Fay Wray is wonderful and beautiful. This is 1933, so this is the same year she made King Kong. And also the same year she made Most Dangerous Game, which they filmed on the King Kong set. Uh, so it was a busy year for her. Um, what else? What else? Oh, director Michael Curtiz. This is again the second one that he directed with these two, but of course Curtiz made a lot of films with Errol Flynn, including The Adventures of Robin Hood, The Seahawk, and then of course probably his most famous film was Casablanca. An incredible director uh, who really was hard on actors. I think he was Hungarian, and he most of the actors didn't like working with him. He was sort of caustic and a real pain in the ass. He had some language issues too. One of my favorite quotes of his, it's sort of a malaprop, where he says, "Next time I want some dumb bastard to do something, I go myself." I love that. He doesn't realize what he's saying. So, yeah, great movie. Fun to watch. Frank McHugh is in it too, who was in a lot of James Cagney films. Again, Warner Brothers. He was a Warner Brothers stalwart. Him and Alan Jenkins, and there's a whole crew uh, of these Warner actors that were support players that would show up in all these films. Frank McHugh was a buddy of James Cagney, and he was part of the original Rat Pack. No, I take that back. The Rat Pack was Humphrey Bogart's crew, because he had started it before Sinatra, and then it moved on to Sinatra and his crowd. But Humphrey Bogart had the original Rat Pack. So I'm going off on a tangent there, but so be it. It's my show. I can go do what I want. Let's see who's here this morning. Hyper Kaiju, Dr. Mask is here. Our usual cast of characters. Rob Fellows is up. Oh, yeah, here's a great quote. Hi, Graham Nolan and Waxy Weirdos. I don't know what he was, but he made Frankenstein look like a lily. So that self-reference to modern day horror movies, Frankenstein was only made 2 years earlier. So it was very, topical to mention Frankenstein in this. And one of the things I like about this movie over the remake House of Wax is that it does take place in modern times, modern being the era in which it was made, 1933. The 1950s version takes place like in the 1800s. And I don't know, for some reason, I like it being modern, and just the way the people talk and interact and stuff, versus that kind of Victorian era stuff. Let's see, who else is here? Fearless Freep is here. Hello. H is for Heretic. Live Monsters for a change. Okay. We're an hour later because it is Saturday, and I like to sleep in a little. Marcus Kelgo, hey, I got in before Graham started. I don't have login for work. Okay, good. Paulus Arts is here. Hello. Man of War 665, Neighbor of the Beast. The Normie Nerd. Fearless Freep liked the dialogue, but he thought the news reporter was too frenetic. Yeah, in places, a little over the top. Fay Ray for looks and screams, and Glenda Farrell for sass. A strong female lead in the 1930s movie. Who'd have thought of it? Yeah, I mean, the actresses ruled back then, in the 30s and 40s. They had wonderfully powerful lead roles for women back then. Hyper Kaiju almost likes this one better than the Vincent Price version. I like that one a lot. Yeah, I think there are aspects of this one that are better, and there's aspects of the Vincent Price one that are better. Um, I'm kind of torn about which one I like best, because I like them both. They're slightly different. I like the leads in this. I like the reporter character. which is not in the Vincent Price one. And the actress Phyllis, can't remember her last name, who was in the Vincent Price one. I found her a bit annoying. I like the Fay Wray character and the Glenda Farrell characters more interesting in this one here. The suitor in this one, the rich playboy who the newspaper reporter kind of hooks up with. That guy was also in a couple years later in Bride of Frankenstein. He played Lord Byron in the opening sequence. He's the one rolling his tongues, and who'd have thought our beautiful Elizabeth would create a monster? He's really, really over the top. Graham the Great, good morning. Good morning, James Allen. No, not Caroline, not Morticia. Her character was sort of a goofy character in the Vincent Price one. Carolyn Jones. Yeah. So today's movie sort of takes us out of the golden age of films. And tomorrow we're going to come back forward into a more modern era for a while. Tomorrow's is 1986's James Cameron classic Aliens, the sequel to the 1979 version of Alien. Aliens is a roller coaster ride of action, adventure, terror, and that's going to be a fun one. So that's your homework for tomorrow. You can watch that tonight. It'll be a lot of fun. If you haven't seen it, I can't imagine anybody who hasn't seen Aliens yet. But it's available. Where did I say that was on my list? Let's open up and let's see here. I want to say it was on HBO, but I could be wrong about that. Let's see. Here we go. Amazon Prime. There you go. So I'm not sure if it's has to be rented on Amazon or if it's part of Amazon Prime. But that's where you could watch it if you don't own it already. Oh, Hyper Kaiju says, damn, I am enjoying these old movies. Well, fear not, my friend. We have more oldies coming up. So we're going to do a few new modern ones. Aliens, Malignant, Jaws, The Changeling. Count Yorga goes back to the early 1970s. And then we go to The Black Cat, which is 1932, I believe. We've got 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, 20 Million Miles to Earth. Let me see if we got any other really old ones. The Mummy's Tomb from the 40s. So yeah, we're going to be bouncing around. We got some modern stuff like Terminator, It, The Cave, The Ritual, and then this stuff going back from the 40s through the 70s. Try to keep the list, through the decades. And originally it was all old stuff, classic stuff, but I've done that. So now it's time to move on to some new stuff and see what's being made out there. So that'll be fun. Okay, my friends, we will catch you back here tomorrow. Sundays, remember, is sort of a revolving time. Whenever I can get the show in is when it'll pop up. So just look for your messages or just catch it in the reruns, and hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so, and back to Gosamata Kumba Key. It's the comic you're gonna want to read. So thanks everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.